Galloway's presents In Your Pocket with Brendan Lewis and Louise Humphreys.
So who am I? My name's Brendan Lewis. I'm the Director of Business Development for RealSAM, which is the company that manufactures In Your Pocket. Um, as I just mentioned, I'm Australian, but I'm living in Bethesda, Maryland. And I've been here for about a year because we've been working with the Library of Congress on our In Your Pocket device. So today I'm going to cover a bit about In Your Pocket, where it comes from, and then I'll demonstrate some of the different things it can do in some of the different areas. So In Your Pocket, most visibly, is it appears to be a mobile phone handset, but it's actually much more than that. It's a phone, it's a media player, and it's a digital assistant all in one, and it's been designed from the ground up to support blind and visually impaired people, and it does that through having a smart voice interface. So it comes from RealSAM's parent company is actually called RealThing Entertainment, which is an Australian company that specialises in artificial intelligence, and it's created the cleverness that sits inside In Your Pocket. So as I said, it's more than just a smartphone. It's a media player. It's a talking watch. It's a personal alarm. There's an onboard video magnifier. It provides sighted assistance. There's a sat nav system. There's a reminder system. So there's plenty of things in there. So it's much more than just a phone. And in fact, it's not just the handset either. We put our software on a Samsung mobile phone. We have connectivity provided by O2 Telefonica, and you can also connect it via Wi-Fi. And out on the internet, we have what's called a dialogue server. So it's a computer that kind of figures out what you're asking for and helps you and creates a response, which then it sends to the phone, and the phone speaks out loud. We have access to lots of different content sources, which I'll go into in a while. And there's also a website. Every handset has its own website that you can log into, and you can change some of the things that are going on the phone, like you can add contacts in bulk and things like that. So why is it special? Because unlike some of the other phones that kind of talk out loud, they're what we call dumb voice, in that they don't really know what they're saying, and they can't have complex conversations with you. And ours is a smart device that can, so it can figure out what you want and help you get to the answer. It's also set up to go straight out of the box. So when you pull it out of the box and you turn it on, you can do things immediately. So within 2 minutes of pulling it out of the box, without having to do anything clever, you could be streaming a book from the RNIB library if you wanted to. And in doing that, it's fairly unique because you can get that content immediately. There's no borrowing limits or waiting times. If you change your mind, you can listen to a book for 10 seconds, find a new book, if you want. And it's sold on a plan. You can purchase it up front for from £619 or from $25.99 a month. And that includes, of course, the phone components of it. So you can make free phone calls and unlimited text messages all around the UK, and you have 3 gigabytes of data that comes with it. So that's a little bit about it. And what I want to do now is I'll just drill down slightly on it a bit more, and what I'll do is I'll take some questions at the end. So we've just released this version of In Your Pocket on what we call the Samsung Xcover 4S handset, which is a new handset that's been released by Samsung. The beauty of this handset, apart from being a bit faster and more powerful than the old one, the beauty is that it's tougher, and it's because it's from their rugged range, and it's waterproof, which means that if you drop it into the sink, you're not going to kill the device. If you want to wipe it down with disinfectant because someone's been coughing and spluttering all over it, you can do that without being stressed that you may have water ingress and kill it. At the moment, the device is sleeping. At the front, there's raised buttons. There's actually 3 buttons, but it tends to feel like one long bar, but it doesn't matter which button that you press. If you press any of the buttons, they act as what we call the talk button. So waking it up, I can press a button and the screen is now lit up, and it says that it's a RealSAM in your pocket. If I wanted to confirm it, I could do by voice. I press the button and release it. Hello.
Hello to you too. I love hearing your voice. You are reviewing podcasts with title My Eyes.
Oh, that's what I was doing last. Thank you. So the first thing I want to know is how to use the device. And we have a user guide on board, and you can access the user guide in 3 different ways. Firstly, you can just simply speak to the device and get all the content. The second way is that we have a touch screen menu that you can drill down on, and as you touch each item, it'll announce it out loud. It'll give you the instructions that you need. And the third way is actually we have a cited menu on board. So if you have someone around you that's helping you with things and wants to find it out, they can also jump to the cited menu and just read the article that they want. So for instance, I can just say user guide.
Reading full user guide. User guide as at June 10th, 2020. Listing sections to select from. 1. Introduction to In Your Pocket. 2. Device management. 3. Communications. 4. Entertainment within your pocket.
Number 2.
Reading device management. Listing articles or sections to select from. First 5 of 9. 1. Introduction. 2. Screen display. 3. Audio.
Number 2.
Screen display. To change screen brightness, you can say
screen very bright, screen bright, screen dim, screen very dim.
Having the screen.
Cancel. So I've got
that conversation wasn't going anywhere. Let's start from scratch.
Thank you. So I've accessed the user guide by my voice. I could also, if I wanted to, run my finger down on the screen to do a large letter L, starting from the top left-hand corner where the RealSAM logo is. A bright yellow arrow comes up for people who've got a bit of sight. I can trace that.
Showing main menu. Move your finger around the screen until you hear the item you want and then release.
So if I wanted to go to the user guide, I'm now going to run my finger up until I hear the words user guide.
Turn on outdoor assistance call. Cited assistance menu. User guide. Showing full user guide. User guide as at March 28th, 2020. Assistant entertainment features, communication features. Device management. Showing device management. Power. Changing ringtones. Audio features. Screen display. Screen display. To change screen brightness, you can say
screen very bright, screen bright, screen dim, screen very dim.
It is useful to know that having the screen dim will be the most battery efficient. Back to main. Showing full use done. Showing main menu done. Touch screen disabled.
So as you can see, we're getting to the user guide in there's a couple of different ways. In there also you can do things like you can configure it to connect to your Wi-Fi. When you can configure to connect to Wi-Fi, we used to do it originally. We did the whole thing by voice, but we found that no one could. People were making way too many errors. So now when we configure Wi-Fi, it'll search for the Wi-Fi networks, and then it'll bring up a touch screen menu similar to that to enter the password, so that each of the letters, uppercase or lowercase, you can enter it in there. So that's that. So we kind of think of in the device management side of it, you can also do some other clever stuff as well, which I'll show you later on. Device, it's an entertainment device, and it's a personal assistant. So as a communications device, obviously you can do things like make phone calls. Call Brendan.
About to call Brendan. Do you want to call, cancel, or more options? Select one or
call.
I got call, and I'm not sure what that means right now. About to call Brendan. Do you want to call, cancel, or more options? Select one or say help for more information.
Call.
Calling Brendan. Press power to cancel or talk to toggle speaker mode. Speaker disabled.
So that just called my other phone, and in fact, I've got my wife's SIM card in there, so it did it. Now, there was something slightly odd there that you might have noticed that the first time I said call, it didn't recognise me, and that's because of one of the beauty of the devices that works really well for everyone, basically, except for me, is that if you're in the UK and you're using it, it expects British accents. If you're in America, where I am, it expects American accents. Unfortunately, I speak with an Australian accent, so a lot of the time when I'm demonstrating, I have to fake a US accent. So you can call messages. You can also read messages. No,
Speaker enabled.
I'll just
Call was terminated.
I'll just send myself a message. I'll send the device a message so you can see what that experience is like. So I've just sent the handset a message about a package being
Text
delivered.
message received.
Okay. Read messages.
You have an unread message. Unread. Text in.
Delivered. Your RAM is in package with.
Less than a minute ago. From Brendan. Say yes to read it.
Yes.
Unread. Text in. Delivered. Your Amazon package with Belvoir fruit farm elderflower cordial. 500 milliliters and one other item. Less than a minute ago from Brendan. What do you want to do now? Reply. Next. Delete. List.
Delete.
I heard. Delight. And I don't know what to do with it. What do you want?
Delete.
I got daylight.
No,
And
no, doesn't matter. Cancel. It doesn't like the way I say delete either when I try to do my American accent. So you can read messages, you can send messages, you can add contacts by voice. So you can say add contact with and you can add it by phone number, or it doesn't matter what sequence you do it. Just one of the beauties of our intelligence. It'll ask you the questions about what it doesn't know. So if you're adding a contact, it needs to know a name and a number. If you give it a number, it'll ask for the name. If you give it the name, it'll ask for the number. If you give it both, it'll be happy and say, can you confirm this? So that's the basic communication side of the device. Now note with our contacts, it's designed especially for visually impaired people. The contacts don't have addresses. They're just basically phone numbers and names. But you can also actually add a Zoom meeting as a contact. And when you dial it, you can have audio access to a Zoom meeting, which is kind of cool. A major part of the device is, in fact, where it started from is the entertainment package, which is the books, the newspapers, magazines, podcasts, internet radio, all available there. So if I wanted to, excuse me, if I wanted to read a book, I've got a number of library choices. Find books.
I have books from 6 sources. 1. Recent books. 2. RNIB library. 3. That's maximum volume. 3. Caliber. 4. Project Gutenberg. 5. LibriVox. 6. Torch Trust. Please select.
So I've got a number of different libraries that I can use, but I can jump to the one I want. Say I wanted to read The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. I could say, list books by Wells from RNIB.
RNIB library. No perfect match for books by Wells from him, but I have these. I have many books. The first 5 are 1. Charles Manson by Simon Wells. 2. The Traitor's Girl by Christine Wells. 3.
And About Martians.
Fine. RNIB library. No perfect match for books by Wells from him about Martians, but I have this. There is one book. The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Say yes at any time to begin reading this book. This is the synopsis. A very early science fiction novel in which Martians land in Surrey, overcome.
Yes.
Now reading The War of the Worlds, the middle of section 1. 0% into the book.
The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Funding for the conversion of this talking book title.
Jump forward to.
Right. Jump forward. Reading. Just started section 3. 0% into the book.
mental habits of those departed days. At most, terrestrial men fancied that there might be other men upon Mars.
Play very fast.
The play speed for the War of the Worlds has been set to very fast.
Perhaps inferior to themselves, and ready to welcome a missionary enterprise. Yet across the gulf of space, minds that are to our minds as ours are to those of the beasts that perish. Intellects vast.
Pause.
Fine. Paused.
So as you can see, I can fairly quickly find a book. I can stream it if I want to. If I don't change my mind, I don't want to do that. Or maybe I want to find something about sailing, or find books about the ocean.
I have books from 6 sources. 1.
Find books about the ocean from RNIB.
RNIB Library. Books about the ocean. I have a few books. The first 5 are 1. Mapping the Deep by Robert Kunzig. 2.
And about old men.
Fine. RNIB Library. Books on old men. First 5 of 12 remaining. 1. Old Men Forget by Duff Cooper. 2. Exit Lines by Reginald Hill. 3. The Days That We Have Seen by Georgie Ward Evans. 4. Plain.
Find books with title Old Man.
RNIB Library. Books with title Old Man. First 5 of 7 remaining. 1. My Old Man by John Major. 2. The Old Man Told Us by Ruth Holmes Whitehead. 3. The Old Man and Mr. Smith by Peter Ustinov. 4. The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. 5. Classic Tales of Mystery. The Terrible Old Man by H.P. Lovecraft. Please select, or say, next. Also, to search in the whole catalogue, say something like, find books with title The Old Man and the Sea by Hemingway. Say, user guide. To learn more, you can refine by author, with title.
Next.
Right. 2 books. 1. The Accidental Further Adventures of the 100-Year-Old Man by Jonas Jonasson. 2. The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window.
Cancelled.
Okay, Tony. It's cancelled.
So as you can see, it's that simple. You can search by title, by author, by subject, and we're about to release searching by narrator, and a combination of the above. So to find a book, it's easy. There's multiple libraries. There's over 100,000 books. So there's more books than more audio books than someone could listen to in a lifetime. You can play faster or slower. You can adjust it to suit you. With the books, because they're audio recordings, you can't change the voice though. We also have the magazine collection from RNIB Newsline, thousands of podcasts and internet radio stations. So you could search for radio stations by genre, or you could by region if you wanted to. Moving next on to assistance. The In Your Pocket has a variety of different personal assistants to help people be more independent. You can ask it simple information, things like, I'm currently at 4400 East West Highway in Bethesda. Where am I? It's having a think.
Sorry, I was unable to get a recent location fix.
So I can't see the satellite. Maybe if I put it over next to the window. Where am I? It's because the blinds are down too. I think it's because the blinds...
Within 82 metres of 4400 East-West Highway, Bethesda, Maryland, approximately 90 metres from the corner of Montgomery Avenue in Pearl Street.
What's around here?
Where you were 0 minutes ago. Nearby points of interest include Hilton Garden in Washington, D.C., Bethesda, Residence Inn by Marriott Bethesda Downtown, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Home Snap, Bethesda, Hyatt Regency Bethesda, La Madeleine French Bakery and Cafe Bethesda, Manani Gabi.
Oh, okay. What's the time in Paris?
The time is 31 minutes past 4 p.m. on Thursday, August 27, 2020.
Okay. What's the weather?
Sorry, I was unable to look up the weather.
Okay. Something wrong with the weather at the moment. There's also, we also have an inbuilt navigation tool for point-to-point navigation, so as the crow flies, which is useful for when you're in an unstructured environment, like you're going down to the park. And it's called locations. You turn it on by saying start locations. When you want to label a particular spot in the ground, or metaphorically drop a pin, you label a location. So you may say, label location, my desk, and that location is then set. And while you're running locations, it'll try to navigate you back to that spot by saying ahead 10 meters to your slight left, behind you 50 meters to your right. And you can also list the locations that you have and put into the device, and you can change the focus. So you can focus on a different spot, so it'll guide you to whichever location you select. That means that you can actually, if you like, you can create a number of waypoints on the way to the park or to the shops, so that you can get guidance. And in fact, if you're in the car, you were out with family, you were at a coffee shop up in the village and you quite liked it, you could label the location of the coffee shop. And then later on, if you're at home and perhaps with your dog, you could then get it to guide you to a place that effectively your dog's never been before. So that's quite exciting. We also have an onboard video magnifier, and we have, so that's simply included in the device. You can zoom in and zoom out if you have some vision. And we have the Be My Eyes package, which you're probably well aware of, which you say to the device, Be My Eyes. The first time it takes a bit of a while. And then it connects your microphone, your speaker, and your camera to a volunteer. And Be My Eyes has 166,000 volunteers at the moment in the UK. So there's someone on the other end who can tell you what you're seeing, and whether it's something as simple as, do these socks match, or is this can kidney beans, or is it chili, or something a little bit more complex, like here's a letter from my hospital. I want to find out what time my appointment is. Can you please read it for me? I give that as an example because that's something I've helped someone with. We also have what we call smart reminders. So we call them smart reminders because it tells you what the reminder's for. So I could say, remind me in 1 minute to check the oven.
A reminder has been set for 1 minute.
So you can have multiple reminders. You can have them in minutes or hours. At the moment, we don't repeat reminders on day, so you couldn't have a daily reminder at 8 a.m. to wake up or something like that. But that'll come in the future, because one of the beauties of our device is, as we improve it, everyone gets all the updates. It's called over-the-air updates, and we make changes, we make improvements, we make new features, and they go out to simply everyone, no matter what version of the device they have, and there's no cost. It's all everything. There's no further costs after buying it. It's all in one. And I know that on our innovation roadmap is to repeat reminders on a daily basis or an annual basis. So you could have a reminder on Sundays that there's a particular program that you listen to every Sunday. Maybe it's a wedding anniversary. That'll all be coming soon. If you want to know what reminders you have got, you can say,
check the oven.
You can say list reminders, and it will give you the list of reminders. See, it's not didn't just set off an alarm, it told you what the alarm was for.
Check the oven 11 seconds late.
And by pressing the talk button,
reminder stopped.
I've now cancelled that. So those are the three major areas of the device. You can make phone calls, you can access content, books and magazines, podcasts and radio, and you've got all these personal assistants, and that'll also expand. There's also other things that you can do with the book, the handset. You can do things like change the voice. If you don't like the voice, you could say, change voice.
You can use one of the following voices. Hello, I am voice number 1.
Hello, I am voice number 2.
Hello, I am
number 1.
Okay, I will use this voice from now on.
I can also want that, if I wanted that voice to speak faster, I could say, speak faster.
Okay, Tony, I'll talk this speed now.
Speak very fast.
I think you are trying to set a reminder, but I did not understand.
Speak very fast.
Sure. I will use speed now.
Speak normal.
Okay, Tony. I'll talk this speed now.
That's a bit slow. Speak faster.
Sure. I will use this speed now.
The other thing I can do, it's calling me Tony at the moment because I've obviously been playing with it. My name is Brendan.
Let me have a quick practice.
Brendan.
Wherefore art thou, Brendan?
I love you.
I got, I love you. And I'm not sure what that means right now.
Oh, I hate you.
Hey? Whoa. When you say hate, do you mean love?
Anyway, that's all I've got to show you at this stage. We've got the device. If you're interested, we have the device. You can call our call center in Peterborough because we have it's a service. It's not just a piece of software. It's actually a full service we provide people. We also have a website at www.inyourpocket.net. Our phone number is 0333 772 7708, and we also this is actually coincidentally, we have a special going which is £50 off until the end of August, which is calling the calls with the call center up until 5 p.m. Friday, or on the website up until 5 p.m. Monday, which is the end of August. So it's a kind of a quick end of summer special to help launch the new handset if people are interested. All right, I think that's all I've got for you. Has anyone got any questions?
Guys, I'll see if everyone wants to, if you all want to unmute, and anybody who wants to ask a question, can you just say who you are before you ask Brendan your question, if that's okay?
Remind us what the price of this device is, Brendan, please.
There's a couple of different prices. We have a 3 GB a month package or 10 GB a month. So it's unlimited on Wi-Fi, but if you're out and about and you're using the SIM card and you're using data on there, you can purchase it up front for £619, or that's for the 3 GB package, or the 10 GB package is £715 up front. And that runs the device and the full service for 2 years. You can also pay that it's not particularly much of a discount, but the monthly price is £25.99 per month, or for the small plan, or for the big plan, $29.99. Now, when I say small plan, it's actually the normal plan up until about a month ago, when we had the ability to add on a very large plan for people who are more power users.
Thank you, Brendan.
Hello, I've got a question. Key here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
When you call in the hospital or a call centre, how do you bring up the number pad on the phone? I mean, you have to press 1 or 2 to go through.
So when you make a phone call and you get to a voicemail system that's asking for choices, you can run your finger down the middle of the screen and it will bring up a touch keypad again. And then you can, as you touch each number, it'll announce it. And then as you let your finger go, it'll select that number so that you can get through, so that you can use touch dial systems.
I've no question. What happens to the phone when the contract finishes? Do you own the phone, or do you go on to a new contract?
There's a couple of different options that you've got. The reason that you don't own the phone unless you buy it from us, which is a month's rent. The reason that we don't sell people a phone is because we get much better tax treatment of it, so we don't have to pass on extra VAT for you.
Tuesday. Forgot it's bank holiday weekend. Oh, sorry, I didn't realise.
So so at the end of the contract, you've got a couple of options. You could buy the handset office, but it wouldn't be much use because you wouldn't be buying the dialogue service of it. But you could turn it back into an Android phone and buy Office for 1 month's rent. You could upgrade to whatever new handset we had at the time if you thought that one was getting old and onto a new contract. You could roll over to month, or if you weren't using the phone components of it, you could roll over to the much cheaper Wi-Fi only plan, so that you wouldn't have any, you wouldn't be able to use it. You wouldn't be able to use it when you were down the high street because you wouldn't have a SIM card in it. Actually, you could put someone else's SIM card in, it's not locked, but you could pay for the Wi-Fi only plan if you liked.
Is there a counter to
off the cuff, I can't remember what the Wi-Fi only plan is. It's because I don't normally deal in what happens at the end of contracts.
Is there a counter to how much data you use, like how much minutes or?
No, it's unlimited phone calls and text messages in the UK. The only thing that's limited is the data on the SIM card.
Now, question: when you're reading the newspaper, the article, when you finish the article, how do you go back and read it again?
You could search. If you were on a newspaper, it starts off in the mode that it's reading headlines and you drill down to an article. So you can go back to the headlines and you can also reset the paper. The exact, I'm just, when I'm doing newspapers, I'm just flicking through my notes. I don't tend to do that. You can, as I thought, so you can just say, read the headlines, go back to the headlines, or you could say reset the paper and it'll start again. So if you wanted to read The Guardian, you could say, read me The Guardian.
You are reading The Guardian of today. There are 73 unread articles in the news section. Headlines: 1. Vigilante held after 2 shot dead in US. 2. Germany scraps Brexit talks after wasted sum. Now
it's reading the headlines, and until I actually select a headline for article to read, it won't actually read the articles. It'll only read the headlines. But once I'm in the reading mode, I could also ask it to auto read, so it'll just continue to read all the articles. But I could also search for articles. I could say search for articles about Boris Johnson if I wanted to find half the articles in the paper.
You are reading I from today.
Cancel. I could also jump to. I could ask what sections it has. I could jump to different section. I could jump to the sports section or the health section, depending on what it is. And if I wanted to go back, I could say go back to read a specific article again, or I could reset the paper.
Thank you.
Anyone else got any questions for Brandon?
Yes, I have. It's David here.
David?
Yeah. Now, I didn't have any problems really hearing that phone, but some of our clients are also deaf as well as visually impaired. Is there anything on there that makes it just that little bit clearer for people to hear the books or a call?
Well, you can connect it to a Bluetooth speaker or a wired speaker or a Bluetooth headset, or if you've got Bluetooth enabled hearing aids, you can connect it to that.
Yeah,
The times when there's a couple of times when the solution when In Your Pocket isn't a great solution for people, and that's if someone also has a severe speech impediment, they're going to have problems with the voice interface. So it's not as good there. And if someone has some issues with fine motor skills, like they have difficulty pressing the button. The reason we have pressing the button, unlike if I say the magic words at the moment, I'll have devices fired up. But I've got all these devices snooping on me all the time. Our device doesn't snoop on people, and also because it's not always on listening, it makes the battery last a lot longer.
It does.
Yeah. So. But if people don't have fine motor skills to be able to touch the button, then it's probably not the right solution for them. Although we are working on what we call the wheelchair kit, which is a rubber band with a large button on it so people can hit it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's in 2 minds whether we do that or we just do a voice interface. But as I said, if people have got a quite strong speech impediments, then they can have a problem. Although saying that, I know that there's people who use it happily. and with a very strong accent, there's still it accepts it.
Oh, good. Well, that's something positive anyway, because in England, as you know, we have some very strong accents, you know. Not like America, where the voice is the same everywhere.
No, they're not.
No,
I
you
think
don't.
that's
No,
true.
you don't.
They're not the same everywhere. There's very different accents.
Of course they are.
Across the states. Oh,
One of
Oh,
the
yeah.
interesting things about America is that when I speak, no one bats an eye. They just assume that I'm American because everyone's American, and there's lots and lots of different accents here. Those who do normally say, "Are you English?" It's 100% anonymous. Are you English? The other thing with the device is there's a bit of what we call banter in it. So there's some jokes. There's things that are hidden in the device that if you say something, and it may give you like a humorous response.
Do we have any more questions?
I've got one.
Okay,
Andrew.
Andrew's back.
Hiya, Brendan. Thanks for joining us today. Really enjoyed watching it. With your, I've noticed you are working on a lot more kind of integration with other apps. So obviously the Be My Eyes app is a great example of kind of working on integrating different services. With the Be My Eyes app, does that give you just help from a volunteer, or is there a way of accessing some of the specialized help services through the app as well?
So the current version of the Be My Eyes app is it's just the straight Be My Eyes, but we're on our innovation plan is to access the specialized. So I know that Galloway's is doing something with Be My Eyes.
Yeah.
At the moment, you can't direct the support call to Galloway's, but sometime between now and Christmas, you will be able to, and all the devices will get that.
That's brilliant. And are there any other kind of integrations that you may be looking at in the future with other apps and other services?
I looking at from the meeting I had, the product planning meeting I had Monday last week. There's a whole lot of stuff that actually on the moment that users won't see. It's making the experience better. It's tidying up things, fixing things, stuff that we see that people don't generally see. But also there's TuneIn Radio is coming, and Spotify integration is coming, and TuneIn Radio. So if people got Spotify accounts, they'll be able to use them there as well. And then we got a couple of other things up our sleeve which we're not disclosing to anyone at the moment. Mind you, that's part of that reason is because we're still fighting it out amongst ourselves. But we got some fairly exciting other things going to happen between now and Christmas that'll come out with the device.
Brilliant. No, sounds great. And I remember when In Your Pocket first came out, and I've used the different devices that have that you guys have released. It's great to see the new products and design. And yeah, cheers. I'm not going to hog the space here, but thanks for answering my question, Brendan, and thanks for coming on again.
That's okay. Louise, was there anything that thanks, Andrew. Louise, was there anything that I missed?
No, I don't think so. Just that obviously we're really grateful to have had the opportunity. So if the group would like us to send out any more information or share anything else in future forums, we'd love to do that, and we can send over some brochures or something on email if that would be useful to everyone who's attended.
And if you sold on it and you think that's fantastic, as I said, we've got a special on at the moment. There'll be 50 quid off to the end of the month, but with the call center that only lasts until tomorrow 5 p.m. And there's information, and at some stage we'll also get a demonstration device or two out to Galloway's so that people can come in and play with themselves if they want.
Yay!
I might write a little article about cleaning in your pocket with solvents or something like that to make sure that it's all hygienic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to say a big thank you, Louise and Brendan, for joining us today. For everybody that's joined us, Andrew is back next week. Is that right, Andrew?
He is back.
He is, yeah. So big
I
thank you.
I am back next week. Yeah, I'll be back next week. We got a session with Progress Housing about technology that helps in the home, keeping you safe, and alarms and first response and stuff like that. So it should be interesting.
Oh, I didn't mention there's an emergency an assistant on there, which is if amongst your contacts, if you put the word assistance before their name, what happens is if you press the emergency assistance button, which is on the new handsets, the gold one on the left hand side top when it's facing you, you press that 3 times, it sends anyone who's your assistance a text message saying where you are and that you're in trouble, and then it attempts to ring them in sequence so that you can get assistance from a friend or family or an emergency service. That's all built in as well.
Really good.
I think the beauty for me, it's Louise, it's Andrew's wife. The beauty for me, after seeing how Andrew works with people from Galloway's service users, is the actual integration of some of the apps that are already on there, the ease of taking it out of the box and having the RNIB and the Be My Eyes on there. It's just brilliant for people who do maybe struggle trying to download apps and things like that.
Well, one of the at the very beginning, the reason it was the very first thing that was actually created was the newspaper reader, and it was in Australia a number of years ago. And it was someone had Andrew, our chief technology officer, is a little bit visually impaired, but wears glasses and drives a car and badly. But he
like me.
Someone had said to him, "Look, you understand that when I get a newspaper, it comes on a CD-ROM a week after the newspaper was written."
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's kind of ridiculous. Well, we can fix that, and that's actually what started us down this path. Okay. All right. So I suppose I should say thank you all for having us. It was great to talk again, and look forward to doing it potentially in the future when we've got something new and exciting to tell you about.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Brendan.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was really interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Brendan and Louise.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.